Hi there, it's Brooke, and today I am bringing you what my granny made. This is our collab, the open invite collab that I talked about a couple weeks ago, and today we are going to do the baking. So I just want to give you a little info about the collab. So the collab is an open invite, so if you still want to join, go for it. The link to the playlist will be down below and you can add yours, or of course go watch everybody's because that's why we're here, right? What my granny made during the holiday season. And it could be anybody, an aunt, a friend, a mom, anybody who made something that you really enjoyed and really remembered during the holiday season. Any holiday season for that matter. And I'm gonna make a couple recipes that my grandma always made for the holiday season, or my Grammy. She would be very upset if I called her Granny. She does not like that. It's Grammy. So the hosts for your collab are Missouri grown, Carolina home, Taylor Elmore, Andrea Shenanigans, and the one who started it all was Leslie from Midlife and Nailing It. And then we have D Lovely Life, Mama Friendly, and then of course me, Brooke. So if you're from any of those gals' channels, hello, welcome. Glad to have you here. If you're from my channel, please go check out all the other channels. They are so fun and I'm so excited to see what they all have made. And I think that's all the info I got for you. So let's get to baking. So I have two recipes I'm going to go through with you. The first one is called 7-layer bars, is which my grandma always called them. And I've seen them as like magic bars or different things like that, but she called them 7-layer bars, and they're super simple. You just make layers of goodness and put it in the oven for a little bit to get it all melty and gooey and stick together. I did call her and ask her like exactly what she used, and she said, yeah, I think that's what I used in there. And I go, well, do you remember like how you layered it up? And she's like, no, I just usually put it in there. I don't even know if I had a recipe. So my Grammy doesn't like to share all of her recipes sometimes, so we're just going to kind of layer it up with the recipe I found. I will link that below. I did make one change. Instead of only chocolate chips, I'm using half chocolate, half butterscotch, because I know my grandma did that, and she always used walnuts in hers, and it says any nuts technically, but it suggested walnuts or pecans, and my grandma always used walnuts. And then the second recipe, I'm going to do a twist on what she did. So we'll wait for that. I'll explain that before we get there. Let's make some 7-layer bars. This is all the ingredients for the 7-layer bars. So first I'm going to crush up some graham crackers and then melt some butter, and then that'll be our crust. And then I got vegetable oil to just spray on there so nothing sticks. And then we have coconut, walnuts, sweetened, condensed milk, and it did say the Eagle brand, so I bought the name brand. And then like I said, butterscotch chips. And then these are semi-sweet chocolate chips. And I do believe it goes graham crackers and then the sweetened condensed milk. And I think this kind of, depending on who you are, is layered differently. And I have preset the oven to 350, so it's at 195 now. So I'm going to set up the camera and we're going to get this ingredients going. So we need 1.5 cups of graham cracker crumbs. So I guess I'm just going to take a bag, smash it up, and see how much it makes. Maybe I'll just do it in the measuring cup. And then I need to melt a 1/2 cup of butter, so I'm going to get that going while we're smashing graham crackers. This is my Pampered Chef like meat chopper, so I've used this to chop other things, so away I go. Let's do the plastic bag rolling pin version. Make sure I seal this up tight. Now let's see if I have enough. I'm going to do one more sleeve. This will be 3 sleeves of the little square pack. And I bought these because we use these for s'mores, so I figured might as well buy what you use, right? A little too much air in there. Pretty close to 1.5 cups. Best way to do it is rolling pin them and get some of the crummiest. You know, I gotta do everything by trial and error. If you ever watch my baking ones, it's usually what not to do and then, oh, this works really well at the end. So, you know, it's just how I roll. So I'm gonna mix my butter, my melted butter, into my graham crackers to make a crust. I'm gonna take my 9x13 pan I didn't know if I should have used a metal or a glass. I usually use a glass, I think, for like when I make Rice Krispies and stuff, so it probably doesn't matter. It just said non-stick, and then I put cooking spray on it too. So next, you just take the sweetened and condensed milk and pour that evenly over the top. And use my skinny spatula here. Let's see how this goes. Ooh, that's fun. While it's on there, now you're supposed to evenly spread coconut, walnuts, and the chip. I'm gonna do the cup of chips first. Now I do 1 1/3 cup of the coconut flake. And then 1 cup of the chopped nuts. And I bought the pre-chopped walnuts, even though they're a little bit more expensive. It was a smaller bag, and I just didn't want a bunch of nuts hanging around. So next we are going to bake for 25 to 30 minutes, it says, until lightly brown. Remove from oven and allow to cool for 5 to 10 minutes. So it says you want to cut around the pan gently to prevent them from sticking, and then cut them up into bars and store them covered tightly. So I'm going to put them in for 20 minutes because sometimes my oven will cook a little faster, and then we'll check them. Here are the bars out of the oven, and I think they're lightly browned. If you look at like the coconut right here, I think if the coconut was more on the top, I could see that better. I mean, that stuff's a little white, but definitely bubbling and sizzling, and around the edges is brown. And it looks like everything is congealed together, so I'm gonna let it sit here for 10 minutes and then cut it out. So the 7-layer bars are all done, and I cut them up here into little squares. I don't like how I layered them. I should have put the nuts down first and then the chips and then the coconut, and they are kind of soft because I didn't mush together my layers either. So first time, my husband said they taste good, they taste like they're supposed to, but they don't look the best. So hopefully next time I make them, I can make sure they turn out better. But overall, I'm happy with how they turned out. Now that we've finished the first goodie, the 7-layer bars, we're going to get into what my grandma calls snowballs. Or like, I guess that's what our family calls them, but they're like the little, you know, they're like dome shaped, or half a sphere, a hemisphere, and they're with powdered sugar on the top, and then they have walnuts inside. I've seen some people call them pecan crescents, and then they're in like a crescent shape. I've made those before, and her walnut snowballs, we kind of liked. I think we all just tolerated them, but there's something that she made all the time. Like, she always had these walnut snowballs. So I was looking through recipes on Pinterest for the walnut snowballs and like the pecan crescents just to see what they're out there. And I found one with pecans and chocolate chips. Well, up in the cupboard, I had these filled like sea salt caramel little chocolate chip truffle things, and I thought those would with pecans, and then like snowball would be like a turtle snowball. So I'm gonna kind of modify the recipe I found and make the walnut snowballs maybe more delicious than we thought as a kid. So yes, I'm doing something my Grammy made, but I'm putting a twist on it so it's more enjoyable for us. So that will be my second goodie. So for this recipe, I need 12 tablespoons of softened butter, so I just have that sitting there getting soft, and then a cup of sugar, a half a teaspoon of salt, 2 teaspoons of pure vanilla extract, 2 cups of flour, 1 cup of finely chopped pecans, so I have some pecans here that I need to chop up, and then 1 cup of semi-sweet chocolate chips, and that's where I'm going to use these. I don't know, these are bigger than chocolate chips, obviously, so we'll just kind of have to see how it works, but these are what I'm planning on using. Of course, powdered sugar for rolling in. You kind of do that a couple times. That's the like last thing you do after they come out of the oven and stuff. So this is my ingredients, and we'll get to baking. So I have preheated the oven and put some parchment paper on my cookie sheet, and it says with a stand mixer, I have a handheld mixer. I'm supposed to beat together butter, sugar, and salt until light and fluffy. Next is 1 egg and vanilla extract. This is the flour. One cup of pecans. These are how big the chocolate chips are, so I will use a cup of those. They're not super huge. The first batch of cookies is done, and they are supposed to be slightly brown on the bottom. Oh, perfect. And they were in for 15 minutes, so I have one more pan to do. Now, these ones have to cool for 5 minutes, and then I can roll them in the powdered sugar. And I got a few leaky spots, so hopefully they roll in powdered sugar nicely. They smell really good. Now, I'm going to roll them in powdered sugar, and then I have to let them completely cool and roll a second time. Here is my turtle snowballs all finished, and they look super delicious. And I definitely wanted to powder sugar them twice. Definitely looks good after you, or looks better after you do it a second time. I have finished all the baking that we are going to do. I hope you enjoyed my Grammy's little recipes and my take on my grandma's recipes. They're all turned out good. You know, first time making those 7-layer bars. I'll get better at it, right? On the walnut snowballs, I love the little twist that I did. So I hope you enjoyed. Let me know down in the comments what you guys like to make for the holidays. What's your favorite treat to make for the holidays? Hit that playlist and go check out everybody else's channel. I'm so excited to watch those. So go watch all the other ladies in the playlist. Hit that like button, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.